Welcome to Waters World. I'm Jesse Waters. The mainstream media exposed again. That's the subject of tonight's Waters Words. This week in Paris, a French national shot 2 police officers, killing one of them on the Champs-Élysées. The President of the United States was asked about it moments later. Here's what he said.
First of all, our condolences from our country to the people of France. Again, it's happening, it seems. I just saw it as I was walking in, so that's a terrible thing, and it's a very, very terrible thing that's going on in the world today. But it looks like another terrorist attack.
The mainstream media was upset by that pronouncement for some reason. Here's the reaction on MSNBC.
President Trump said right off the bat to a question, it looks like another terrorist attack in France. We have not been comfortable to call it that or report that, but we'll have more reporting upcoming.
The coverage is getting ahead of the facts, and I think, the president was referring to, I think, what he was watching on television, and you do wonder, are people going to take what he said as some idea that that he knows something more than what anybody else does?
Don't you think the commander-in-chief knows a little bit more about a breaking international security incident than 2 desk anchors? POTUS has the CIA, the NSA, the FBI, and the Defense Department briefing him 24/7. Would MSNBC have preferred if the president had blamed a terror attack on a video like Obama did?
You had a video that was released by somebody who lives here, sort of a shadowy character who is extremely offensive video directed at Muhammad and Islam,
making fun of the Prophet Muhammad.
Making fun of the Prophet Muhammad, and so this caused great offense in much of the Muslim world.
And what happened just hours after the Paris shooting? ISIS claimed responsibility, and the French government opened up a terror investigation. Once again, Trump was proven right, and the media was proven wrong. Another radical Islamic situation unfolded in Fresno, California earlier in the week when a Muslim man, Qari Ali Muhammad, allegedly killed 3 people while shouting Allah Akbar. But rather than reporting the gunman's literal words, the AP reported him saying, quote, "God is great," downplaying the suspect's Arabic language and ties to Islam. After taking heat, the Associated Press was forced to correct their story, tweeting, "We deleted a tweet about a Fresno slang suspect shouting, 'God is great.' It failed to note he said it in Arabic. A new tweet is upcoming." Too little, too late. And the media double standard continues, ignoring 2 egregious gaffes in 24 hours by liberal Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren. Here's the first one, where she had a deplorables moment.
You look at Donald Trump right now and you look at the stratification of the vote for him. No, he didn't win the popular vote overall, but you look particularly at working poor white vote and people who probably have the most to lose from him very strongly voted in his direction. How do you explain the difference between those types of outcomes you're describing, how people, I think, can usually intelligently perceive their own self-interest, and the way people vote?
Look, I talk about this in the book. Part of it is an ugly stew of racism.
This woman's obviously running for president. She's playing the race card because she's not playing with a full deck. Insulting half the country's un-American. Heaven forbid Hillary lost because of her policies. But the Democrats continue to make excuses. And why is it when Democrats win the White House, it's because the country is filled with hope, but when Republicans win the White House, it's because the country is filled with hatred? Also ironic that a woman who lied about her race, claiming she was Native American to get into Harvard, is calling millions of other Americans racist. But we could find almost no legitimate mainstream media coverage of Elizabeth's flub. I wonder why. Perhaps they're covering for her. And she did it again. On The View, she compared President Trump to a murderous dictator.
We know that he is an unstable man who has nuclear weapons.
You're talking about Trump now.
About to deal with an unstable man who has nuclear weapons. What could possibly go wrong?
So the leading candidate for the Democratic nomination in 2020 compared an American president to a genocidal dictator. And it doesn't appear in the New York Times? Absolutely pathetic. But here's some perspective. According to the Media Research Center analysis, as President Trump approaches the end of his first 100 days in office, he has received by far the most hostile press treatment of any incoming president. Broadcast network coverage of Trump has been You ready for this? 89% negative. In contrast, 8 years ago, network coverage of President Obama's first 100 days was mostly positive and focused on his policy agenda. So when you're watching network TV news coverage of this administration, just keep that in mind.